Okay, we're going to another episode of On Point EDC. Today we have another great update for you from the brand BilletSpin, which was founded by Rich Stadler, who's essentially an engineer with over 25 years of experience. This brand was originally funded on Kickstarter back in April of 2015, and they specialized in spinning tops, but have since expanded into other EDC categories like pens, coins, and gambits. Everything that they make is manufactured here in Wisconsin. Well, here in the US, but out of Wisconsin. I'm located in Oceanside, California. And in terms of the category we're going to be focusing on today, it's going to be custom pens. So some key common characteristics in design language when you're looking for something, when you're trying to find that kind of custom EDC-able pen, of course you're going to want something that's unique in terms of its design language, something that has a fun, fidgetable actuation, as well as premium materials and construction. This is their Zirc CamPen with titanium accents, and it has a fully flamed zirconium barrel with titanium clip, nose, and end cap. It's compatible with any Parker or Parker style refill. And it's a new style of pen that utilizes a completely new and revolutionary type of mechanism that was created by Rich. It was really designed to be fidget friendly and borderline addicting, which I can absolutely attest to, and it is actually tested through 100,000 mechanism cycles. So when they put those prototypes to the test, they knew that they could pretty much take anything that they could throw at them. So at this point, yeah, it's not just something that is kind of expensive and custom. It really is meant to be built to last lifetimes. So it's not only capable, it's also worthy, I think, in terms of being an heirloom that you can pass down to future generations. So with that said, let's go ahead, zoom the camera out, get this piece in hand, and take a closer look. Okay, guys, now before we dive in, quick customary wristwatch check. I have my SPB 143/SBDC 101 from Seiko, and one of the reasons I really wanted to pair this was, one, it has a classic, very timeless aesthetic, and two, check out that cool color match. I think that's really nice in terms of that kind of sun brushing of the anthracite dial, and then of course the Zirc that's on here, and then playing off of the raw titanium, playing off of the steel, so you get some darker and lighter tones there. Very, very nice. Now also what we have in frame is a really cool little coin here that can plug into the gambit body right here. This is, what they're more known for, but I did want to show you guys this because it's similar in terms of the material. This is actually a Zirc with black Timascus coin inlay here. So this is zirconium here. That's same material, and it's pretty nice. In terms of that EDC friendly stuff. So basically you can put it in this gambit body. You can use it as, in terms of being a marker on a golf course, whatever, or just something to fidget with. But very cool design and made out of, again, very premium materials. This is going to be really nicely done in titanium with some nice heat treatment there, getting some colors out of it. Then you drop this guy in, and check that out, very fidget friendly. So this is something that you could absolutely, let me get the camera to focus, you could absolutely just have in your pocket, part of your everyday carry, and you can just kind of mess with it. And you also do get this nice ceramic ball here that you can use it to turn into basically a stemless top, so you could spin it that way, or it actually has one on the other side, so you could spin it that way as well. So you can do a couple different things with this, but I figured that was worth kind of throwing into the intro just because it shows the kind of the prowess of the things that they do and kind of where their wheelhouses are at in terms of production. So really fine stuff that we'll just pull off camera now to focus on the main event here, which is this gorgeous pen. So you guys might recognize this piece if you're fans of the channel, because I reviewed the full titanium model, which I can pull on into screen here. So actually another difference is you get this cool, maybe it's just updated, maybe everybody's getting these now, BilletSpin EDC, cool little sleeve here. for storage, throwing in a bag or whatever. But and then, you know, a little step up from the titanium model. But these are absolutely great, and the guys, I own a lot of really cool EDC pens, titanium, machined in the States, and this one really impressed me to the point of I went out and I ordered one of these in zirconium, so it inspired me. You know, being able to get hands-on with this piece, you know, that was really just a, you know, a sample that came over, inspired me to say, hey, look, like, I kind of want to check out the even more premium version. And I have another zirconium pen from another brand that I really love, so I know that material, and man, the fact that this thing is just finished to such a high level really just impresses me. So getting into the details, this goes for $190 from BilletSpin, and some of you are thinking, wow, $190, that's a lot of money for a pen. And for most people it is. I will say, if you look at some really expensive European pens, they'll be made out of things like brass and, you know, they can have some cool enamels and, you know, different engravings and different patterns and stuff like that. But, you know, brass, aluminum, steel, nothing really exciting from that perspective. Here, zirconium and titanium, definitely very premium. I don't know if there are even any traditional pen makers that are using this type of stuff, because for them it'd probably just be way overbuilt, and they would have to upcharge obviously for all of the brand marketing that would go on, versus a small shop here in the States that just focuses on really creating something extremely special, as you see here. And yeah, I can appreciate that. I mean, as somebody who enjoys a nice timepiece, of course, yeah, I could get something like a Timex that's like $30, or, you know, spend $1,000 on this really great Seiko and, you know, and mechanical movement and whatnot. So there's definitely something in terms of there's parallels with premium gear, premium kit, that has just always resonated with me. So you do get something that is very solid, and it has this great functional mechanism. So it's not a bolt action, it's a cam. And I'll leave link to their explanation in terms of how everything breaks down and the mechanisms and the development. But all I can tell you is that it's just really smart and really well actuated, and it is absolutely very fidgetable. It doesn't open any gaps or anything like that when you're using it, and it also lets you know if the tip is out if you're trying to stow it in your pocket, because now this little guy is sticking out there, which would be pushing up against you right inside your pocket. So you're gonna want that flush. So again, just those little thoughtful things. And then of course you get the great machining, these little ribs in here. These even graduate, so they'll be more shallow, and then they get deeper, and then they get more shallow again. So there's just a lot to love here from a design aesthetic, and it's still very clean, even though there's a decent amount going on here. And when I mean going on, I mean they could have easily, and they actually do have variations where it's, you know, just smoothed out. But I can appreciate that not only is it functional, it actually helps with the aesthetic, and it kind of is a form that comes from function. So I really appreciate that. Now, in terms of this versus the titanium, it's a little bit heavier, but all of the dimensions are going to be the same. So it's going to be 5.2 inches long, about 10.4 millimeters thick here, and then this one is a little bit heavier at 1.65 ounces, so slightly heavier than titanium, but by no means does it feel like some crazy, you know, overbuilt, super heavy type of thing. It definitely is very solid and feels quite hefty, but it's more of a heft of quality versus something that feels like it's just doing too much. So I can appreciate that. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how long this video is going to be, because I'm not one to really do like a lot of, hey, let's test it, because ultimately the brand doesn't make the refill, and you can choose whatever refill you want. So if you want something that's going to be thicker with a heavier line weight, or something that's finer, that's your choice. You can, and you know, a Parker refill is a Parker refill, so you know, that's up to you. But in terms of form factor, fidgetability, the build quality, I do want to let you guys know and hopefully be able to showcase just how nice this is. Again, this, you know, this is a new pen for them, and honestly, a lot of the expensive, on the more expensive side of kind of the EDC titanium pens, and other kind of more precious metals that I collect, they're in fifth, sixth iterations, so they've had multiple generations of refinement. The crazy thing is that this is like their first CamPen, and it's already this good, right? It's that's pretty mind-blowing. You think about quality and design, you think about the Porsche 911 incremental changes over years, and it just gets better and better and more distilled. Now imagine, like, instead of starting out with the first gen design, like you're already jumping into air cooled, the last days of the air cooled, and where you just have some great body lines and everything like that, and then of course that there's a big future ahead, where they're going to refine and do more and more. So just really, really impressive from that standpoint, that this is kind of their first offering within this mechanism of making a CamPen. They've made other pens in the past, but in terms of saying, hey, not only am I going to create a new mechanism, it's going to be a new body and a new design, and it's something that we really want to resonate. So it's just really impressive. I do dig their other products as well, in terms of the Gambit coins and tops and stuff like that. That's all fun and nice to fidget with, as you guys noticed. But guys, closing thoughts on this one. In hand, it feels really smooth and balanced. As a lefty, this sits great. I can actuate it fine. It's grippy where it needs to be grippy, not quite slippy, and it just feels good. And then aesthetically, I think that two-tone appearance is fantastic. And again, it kind of instantly reminded me of my trusty Seiko here. And then in terms of in pocket, it's very unobtrusive, guys. It's not super thin, but it's not super wide either. It's just a nice size in terms of the dimensions and how thick this is all the way around. So it just is in the pocket. It's great. This detailed, really dialed in aesthetic, and the actuation for me, it's great. And again, it's not a thick pen, it's not a thin pen or slim pen, it's just the right size, which makes it, I think, a little bit more versatile, whether you're gonna have this at your desk, your workstation, tucked into a notebook, or just in your pocket, whether that be your pant pocket or your breast pocket on on a long sleeve shirt. So model variations, there's various full titanium models. This is going to be the one that's going to be a little bit different with the Zirc. And then there's definitely select finishes and accenting that they do with blued, just like you'd expect from anything made out of titanium. Got to get it blued, and there's some different ones where it can be a satin kind of machine brush here, or it could also be like a tumbled finish, which will bring out some darker tones and be a little bit more rugged. But for me, especially with the ribs that are on here and the grips and whatnot and those little accents, it just really made sense to have this in more of a satin brush finish, which just, oh man, again, it just reminds me of my watches. I can appreciate a nice brushed finish, and that satin, it just looks really clean and timeless, and I like that. And for the most part, when you're looking at pens that are timeless, right, you think of stuff like let's say the Parker Jotter. It also looks really old, right? Like, it's timeless, yes, but that's mid-century class right there. It's it's a solid pen, nothing special in terms of its makeup or anything like that. It's very iconic, but you compare the clip and the click. This is there are levels to this, and this is just next level, next generation stuff. And again, it's something that could be passed on, although you could pass on a metal, a standard metal body pen, as you go, but these aren't really expensive or precious, so you can just buy another one. It's not like anybody's got one of these and, hey, my dad used it, so I just refilled it. And it's just, over time, these will, they'll take a beating if you give them a beating. Now this, if it takes a beating, it will wear it quite proudly, and it'll come out on top. And you know, even if you had to use it as a weapon of opportunity, my Marine Corps brain, this thing definitely has some nice purchase and is extremely solid and ergonomic for anything like that. If you know anything was to come to that, your last chance, and you needed to have something to defend yourself, this could totally do the job. So in terms of comparable options, there's definitely a lot of high-end kind of clicky or bolt action, you know, either whether it be a back click, side click, or a bolt action. There's a lot on the market within this space. Most of them are going to be a little bit more traditional in terms of the actuation of just, hey, a very simple kind of J pattern on a bolt action. This definitely gives you just a more engaging, it just feels a little bit more machine-like, I guess you could say, which I like. It definitely just, there's just something to that action that just feels less hollow than something like a bolt action. And I love bolt action pens. I collect them. I have tons of them. And you know, they're definitely better than the standard pen. And even some of these nicer higher end click pens, where you click the tail cap, those are great as well in terms of fidgetable factor. But yeah, this one is, there's just something really special about that. I really dig. So bottom line here, guys, at the end of the day, the titanium version of this pen was so good that it inspired me to reach out and, you know, order the more premium variation. And there's not a lot of products that do that. That's, you know, you get your hands on one and you're like, wow, like, what does the definitive version of this look like? A lot of times you're just happy with what you got. And this one, it you know, it made me kind of want more. It was that good. It made me kind of want to look to the ceiling. And, you know, as BilletSpin, EDC, as they expand, they're going to have more products, more pens, more differentiation. Eventually, I'm sure this will be all Zirc at some point. But it's nice to kind of have this transitional model in this really cool two-tone layout. It just really pops for me. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you like the video, please do hit like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.